What's happening, people? Hope you're all well. This is a highlight video of all of my favorite moments from this album reaction. If you want to get full access as well as supporting the channel to the uncut version of this video, head to my Patreon. The links are in the description. Otherwise, enjoy this video. Okay, interesting. This is a big shift stylistically from the last album. This will be an interesting one to see how this pans out. Okay, I'm going to talk about it for a moment. We'll see how it transitions just to give it the respect it may or may not deserve. It doesn't sound like it's a clear transition. Yeah, okay, so it's actual full stop, so we have a bit of room to pause and talk here. Okay, so off rip, again, you guys will have to fill me in with answers on this one because I can only assume I wasn't around at this time. But I'd imagine this was quite a... We'll see how the album pans out, but straight away, this feels like this direction that they're going on this album would have upset a lot of the people that were listening to this band prior to this album releasing. So the album prior to this, Suicide Season, is an extension of the sound that they created with the first album, the first EP, very raw, like deathcore, metalcore. This is, from what I've heard so far, definitely a little bit more metalcore leaning, especially with a lot of the production elements. The production is a bit jarring on this. Like, it's interesting in the context of where they are today, and you can definitely hear the early stylistic choices that they're making in this already. This is the first, like, really obvious, like, oh yeah, this is that early sound, or this is that sound that Bring Me used today and are so known for today. This is where it started to form. This is where they started to fuck around with different ideas. Now, obviously, the execution of it is quite tacky and it doesn't sound great. It's quite jarring and it doesn't really mix well with the rest of the song. That's what they do so well today, is that their sound has evolved to a place where it's almost like pop music. So it suits that pop music production, because this is very like reminiscent of a lot of the songs that would have been out in the like EDM world and pop music world. This was a lot of the production that you would have heard. I think Avicii was probably at his fucking height around this time. Not to say this is very Avicii-esque, but it's very reminiscent of that period of time when Avicii was absolutely at his peak, with a lot of those vocal effects and weird kind of I don't know if it's a vocoder, but just those effects that you heard on the vocals. Very, very pop, very EDM. And like this song almost sounds like it is one of those, you know, when bands release the album and then they give the album to like an EDM producer to like remix the album, and then the band releases the album again under like a, you know, with loads of remixes. I think Imminence did it with some of the songs off of the Black. This song on the actual original album sounds like it is one of those remixes, you know? I've made this comparison before, and I think it's an interesting one. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, this is my comparison, so I'm a bit biased to say it's interesting, but I think that it kind of strikes me as, like, for example, like with me and editing videos, I guess it's two kind of like different art forms, like obviously music and then like visuals and video editing and stuff. Both could be considered artistic. There's an artistic flair across the board when it comes to like editing videos. You've seen what people can do in like movies, and then even just like people who edit stuff for Instagram and YouTube. Like some people are absolute wizards. It's an art form. And I think what you learn over time, and I'm not trying to suggest in any way, shape or form that I'm like a master editor or anything like that, but I've definitely improved over the years. And when I started out with editing videos, I think you definitely lean into the side of like, the more edits I put in this, the better it is. Whereas when you kind of get a little bit older and more mature and you develop your own style and taste, I think you kind of realize that it's a little bit classier to have less edits in it and make things flow a little bit more smooth when it comes to video editing. Like, for example, I would have like a breakdown. Like if you go back and look at some of my older videos, now I was having a lot of fun with it at the time and I don't regret it, don't get me wrong. And it kind of taught me a lot of things about like styles of video editing and just how to do a lot of things. But if you go back and look at like some of my moments where like there's a breakdown that's happening, like you have like the screen shaking and like all these effects and like green screen effects on the screen. Now the green screen stuff was very fun. Like I enjoyed doing that, like having fucking cats dancing on the screen and stuff. Just, you know, brain rot, just fun. But when I look back on it, it's very, I see it as like a product of its time. Now look, I understand that you're looking behind me. It looks like a fucking brothel in here. So I guess you could kind of apply like the less is more. I do like the simplicity of like even background setups when it comes to visuals and stuff, but I also like the crazy wacky shit as well. So I'm maybe in that process where in a couple of years time I look back and I look at this setup and I'm like, oh, I'm doing too much here. So I definitely might be contradicting myself a little bit, but at the same time, the point is that when I listen to this music, it's like they're in the early stages of experimenting with this world of production, and it's like they're doing too much is the overall point that I'm trying to make here. It's they're in this new realm where they're like, you know, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, everything is new and exciting. It's like, oh, let's just drown everything in reverb and effects because it's the new thing, and like we're just doing a lot and we want to have as many things as possible. It's almost as if like the expression is less is more, but in this case, sometimes the reason why that less is more exists, I reckon, is because a lot of people take the opposite approach when they first start out with things. You know, more is more is, I guess, the opposite of less is more. You get where I'm going with this? So the phrase less is more exists because people take it too far in one direction. And I feel like what I'm listening to on this is an example of that. And again, it's a product of its time. It came out in 2010. A lot of the music of this era was very over the top and drowned in effects. And it was like that kind of new wave of modern production that was rolling in. And Bring Me are obviously just experimenting. But it does go to show me, and this is why I say it is interesting, is because they were doing it in a context of like metalcore, which I guess was probably one of the first bands to be trying this. And again, they've gone on to do amazing things, and they're one of the biggest bands, if not the biggest band in the world. And their sound today is so similar to, you know, it's a much more developed and thought out version of this style that we're hearing now. So it's interesting. Again, it's kind of like a history lesson, but hopefully this album just slaps in general. But I worry that it might not have the same effect as Suicide Season if the songs are all like this, if they're leaning more into that like pop production and like really over the top, where it's actually lacking because it's taking away from the rawness that we had in the last album, but adding a production element that doesn't actually sound that good. So we'll see. That was a lot of yapping for the fucking first song, sorry. Oh. Playlist. Yeah, this is an anthem. You can say that again. Ooh! Hello! That's a riff, man. I just got chills because that sounded like it was going to go into Shadow Moses. Is it Shadow Moses or is it Empire? It's the start of the end. Surrender the throne, the blood of my... I think it's Anthem or fuck Empire. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause it again. There's so much to talk about with all these songs, man. It's so interesting to just touch on the album as a whole, but also deep dive each song individually. This song, obviously, playlist for sure. Much more enjoyable to me than Crucify Me. Also, I don't know who Lights is still. I guess Lights was doing some of the female vocals on that track with some of the like vocal effects and shit. Okay, that was a pretty cool transition. I'm gonna pause there and we'll do that transition again. It Never Ends, I'm pretty sure, is a big song. It's kind of annoying that I don't have the Spotify plays, but at the same time, in a way, it's good because it's not giving me any preconceived ideas as to whether or not I should or shouldn't like something. If that makes sense. Let me know what you think of that. Is it better to have it on the screen or not? It's nice sometimes if I'm doing a deep dive and I'm kind of getting an idea, but sometimes it does kind of set you up to be like, because you're kind of looking at the album and you're like, oh, I couldn't be arsed listening to this song and this song because clearly the majority of people don't listen to it. So it means that I'm kind of going in. Whereas now I actually don't really have any idea which songs are popular. And sometimes there is like banger songs on the album that have fuck all plays just for whatever reason. And then it ends up being one of the best songs. So I think it's actually better to have it like this. I was kind of like thinking it was a bit annoying to not be able to like analyze it that way, but I do kind of like the idea of just making up my own mind without any preconceived idea of what the popularity of each song is. But let's talk about Anthem. Obviously, that is back in the world of riffs that I absolutely loved about, to be honest, all albums, but the last album, Suicide Season, definitely brought that out a little bit more. And then obviously we know that Bring Me Go On to be an absolute riffy, fucking sick band in Sempiternal. And some of their earlier stuff or some of their later stuff as well, but Sempiternal is the one that everyone looks to with those just silly fucking riffs, man. Just so fun. Not even like the most complex or technically proficient riffs all the time as well. They're just so undeniably groovy or just make you want to fucking throw down stank face. I think the biggest part about this for me, again, looking at it through the lens of what this band has become to be or has gone on to be, is the, like, you can hear the early genius of Ollie and the crowd play with the lyrical content. Like this again feels like, or not again, but this feels like the first track that is like tailor made. Now it holds up in studio. Like I'm sitting here in my fucking office, bounce on my head. It's still sick, but this holds up as like something that would go off live so much. One, the energy instrumentally, but also just the delivery is so like reminiscent of what Bring Me are nowadays, with being one of the best live bands I've ever seen. They are so good at controlling the crowd. They've got so many like fun chanty moments that are just tailor-made for live experiences. Like the song being called an anthem, the like theme or the repetition of the song being "This is an anthem, so fucking sing" is just so genius, because it has a bit of melody to it, the way it like continues on after that like main shouted out moments. But it's like literally, it works as a song and it sounds great to just sing along to in your own time, but it also like beckons the crowd to scream it back, which is just genius. So he can scream it at the crowd, the crowd can scream it back. It's just genius. It really is. It seems like so obvious, and like it's easy to just brush past like that this song has been created, and it seems so obvious in hindsight. Yeah, that makes sense. But like to think about it and line it up, how well that would work in a live environment, genius. It's cheesy, the production is a bit cheesy, but it's a product of its time. I love the clarity of the guitars in this as well, man. There's enough low end in it to make it fun, but it's not like overbearing where you can't hear the notes. I just got crazy chills off that line. It's not because you're not with me, it's because you never leave. This is what I mean, like lyrically it's a lot more mature compared to the older albums, which I'm not above the themes of the other albums. It's just at my age I'm not really resonating with the fucking party lyrics and shit. Yeah, I absolutely love that lyric. It's not because you're not with me. It's because you never leave. Brilliant. Very good lyricism, which I didn't expect based off of some of the tracks on the last album. But obviously the bands, you know, they're growing up over time. It makes sense for the lyrics to get a little bit more dense and less just about, like, you know, getting fucked up and partying. I know the Suicide Season obviously is a pretty dark theme and an introspective theme in and of itself, but obviously it's still tied in with a lot of pretty surface level themes, and some of the deliveries are a little bit cringe. Not that they aren't in this, there's still a little bit of that aspect, mainly to do with the production. The production's obviously still a product of its time, but it's not too overbearing as I thought it was going to be compared to the first song. The first song was pretty heavy on the production, where I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. But so far so good, man. I think that might go playlist just because it got the goosebumps to show up. And if the goosebumps show up, I think it's pretty fair to say that it's a somewhat decent song. There's definitely some merit in there. So yeah, definitely one I'll come back to, and maybe that will click with me a little bit more. Riffs and stuff, fun. I love some of the like moments to pause and let the song breathe and then crash back in. A big thing for me, which I mentioned in the react just there, is the guitar clarity on this. It's been the case on all the records, to be honest. There's never been a moment where I thought the mix was like bad. I think it maybe sounded a little bit more flat on some of the older records just because it's a product of its time. But the guitars never sounded bad at all. I think the main issue I had with the mix in the previous songs was just that Ollie's voice didn't sound great. But I think in general, Ollie's voice just literally didn't sound great. Like, he didn't have a very good delivery. It just sounded so raw and like it was hurting him. And that was my kind of main gripe with it. And just the mix itself, he was a little bit flat in moments. But this sounds great. It's great to hear such fun, bouncy, energetic riffs, but also be able to hear all of the notes and the context around those riffs, and it not feel like it's still got sufficient bass. It doesn't feel flat. It's because sometimes you nearly have to trade off. That's what I feel like, because I love modern production so much and modern mixing, where everything is so large. The guitars are huge. It generally relies on a lot of bass and low end, and because so many bands are using like 7-8 strings, you almost don't need a bass because of how much bass is currently in those notes that are being rung out by a 7 or 8 string guitar. There's so much low end already, and then you add a bass guitar in there as well. It just means that a lot of the notes can kind of just form into one, and it becomes just like white noise, which can be good depending on the context of the song, but it is really refreshing to... I sound like I've got a severe concussion by the way I'm speaking. I've been wearing my retainer a lot at night, so I think it's kind of fucking up my speech. Anyways, I think I'm becoming Ollie in the last album. Fucking Eric Cartman. But yeah, you can hear every single note. There's sufficient bass in it though. It's not... That's what I was trying to say. There's sometimes a trade-off where it's like either you get the real punchy low end, but you can't really hear a lot of the notes, or you get that real like old school raw sounding thing where you can hear a lot of the notes and all the guitars sound really clear, but it feels like the drops and stuff are a little bit lackluster. They feel like they don't have that impact that you would get in the bassier moments in a modern track. But I feel like this is a nice middle ground of the two. The moments that are like climactic moments with the band coming in, or the guitar riffs coming to a climax with the drums hitting, all sound great. But it doesn't sound really flat like you get with a lot of the older modern metalcore albums. I think it's a really good balance. So yeah, no complaints so far. The only thing I have to complain about is the kind of weird production in the first song. But again, product of its time, has a bit of like character and nostalgia from the era. So I get it. But that's 2 out of 3 for me so far. disgusting. That's a good example of where the production actually works. So dynamic, man. Not where I anticipated this song going based off the lyrics. Okay. That took quite an emotional spin at the end, which again I wasn't anticipating based on how we started off with, like, you know, the lyrical content, like we can see up here, like one night stand vibes, you know, cocaine, ketamine induced night outs, meeting up with someone, back for a shag, and yeah, they somehow made it a little bit emotional. Interesting. But that was a feature with I believe the vocalist of Yumi at 6, which, if anyone is just tuning in for their first time, maybe on Patreon, or maybe this will end up as a YouTube highlight video at some point, you will maybe not know that I've been speaking about it in not only the Bring Me the Horizon videos, but I've had some other videos where I've talked about it in the past. But one of my exes from years ago, when I was like fucking 13, was very, very big on Bring Me the Horizon in and around this era. And I was not into metalcore, metal music at all. And I never got it. I was one of those people that would have been, now granted, take this with a pinch of salt, I was like 12, 13. Not that my fucking brain had been, you know, your brain isn't exactly developed at that point. So you know what people are like when they're 13. And I never got it. I was like, this is just fucking screamo noise. And it's so funny to look back and, or get, you know, just in hindsight now, I'm listening to these albums and really enjoying it. Whereas back then I was like, what the fuck is this nonsense? And Yumi at 6 was another band that she was really into. And maybe there was like a jealousy factor when I was that age, because she was listening to bands like this. Maybe deep down there was something like, oh, you can't like other men. You can't like bands full of other men. Because I know Bring Me had a like strong fan base of a younger female demographic. Because obviously they were young as well. They were like late teens and shit. And then all the early teens and all the teenagers, I guess, and people in their 20s and shit were obsessed with the band. Makes sense, you know. Charismatic frontman, love to party, bit wild, bit, you know, rough around the edges, loose cannons, completely makes sense. Maybe there was an element of me as a 13-year-old insecure little boy. Maybe there was a bit of jealousy there. But it's just funny seeing the Yumi at 6 feature. It all kind of makes sense. Maybe this is how she got into Yumi at 6. I don't know. I think I remember Yumi at 6 playing in Ireland at some point. Or she traveled to go and see them or some shit. I don't know. But it's just funny. It's just funny. Like, I mean, there's no real like punchline to this whole story. It's just to look back on and think of how crazy it is that all these years later, maybe she's watching these videos. I don't know. Shout out to you if you are watching. Random fucking world we live in, if that is the case. But yeah. Weird one. Very weird one. I'm going back fucking like, what am I? I'm 28 now. So I'm talking like we were together from like 12, 13 to like 15, 16. It was like a first like actual real relationship where it wasn't just like, you know, the relationship was made by your peers and you never even like spoke to each other. It was just like this thing that you were going out with each other just to say you were in a relationship, but you didn't actually go and see each other. This was like an actual real relationship. We'd like go and meet up and, you know, we'd hang out and together for like 3 years or some shit. And it's just funny to like go back 15 years it would have been, which would add up. What year would that be? 15 years from now was 2010. Holy shit, man. This is literally the year that we would have been going out. It's 2025. 15 years ago was when I was 13. That would make that 2010. This album dropped in 2010. So she would have been listening to like Suicide Season, and then this would have come out, and then I would have been listening to that. This album when I was like maybe 13, 14, 15. Insane. And then Sempiternal obviously dropped after that. I should have paid more attention to her tastes, because maybe I would have gotten into Sempiternal and really fucked with that. Who knows? Then imagine how different my life could be, like how ridiculously different things could be if just we stayed together for another year or whatever, and then Sempiternal came out, and then all of a sudden I'm the biggest Bring Me the Horizon fan back in like 2015, and then maybe this YouTube channel never even exists. Who the fuck knows? It's crazy. Butterfly effects in full swing there. Anyways, enough yapping. Again, another feature from Lights. Again, this is Lights. She looks very young now, so I don't even know what fucking age she would have been back then. Fucking 14. Again, there's an emotional aspect to this. It does remind me of some of the Architects albums in and of this era, because like Architects obviously had that emotional like dread in a lot of their music as well. Cartman's coming out again.
Don't know what it was. I made a piece of him die. Took a bite to the forest. Wanted to rip aside. Stabbed on his face. An impression in the dirt. To your face the silent. Makes a good make a burn.
So why is he singing like that? I think Ollie used to sing a lot of his, or record a lot of his lines with a retainer in. Jesus! Who the fuck hurt Ollie, man? It's just a one-night stand, bro. Okay. So Lights is playing the opposite side of this storyline here. Okay. Not feeling that song much. It's obviously an emotional take, but not going to be playlist for me. But again, if I was... I'll wait for this to finish out. What's the next song? Home Sweet Hole. Okay. Oh, I can't wait to hear Alligator. Why can't I speak today? Alligator Blood. Some days I just have days where I just cannot string a sentence together. I think I'm just not firing in all cylinders. It's fucking weird. Like, I don't feel tired. I was well rested last night. I got good sleep. I'm just like... I think just listening to Ollie... I said this in the last video again, if you haven't seen the last video, the Suicide Season 1. Ollie sounds like he's doing his best impression of the SpongeBob episode, where every time they speak, they have to like do the at the end of everything. Yeah, I've managed to make 5 songs turn into 50 minutes. This might be new record territory for a yap. And the intro wasn't even that long. I just yapped so much between songs. I don't know, because I wasn't that into this style of music clearly back then. But I do feel like I was like a little emo kid, but I wasn't emo for like emo music. I didn't listen to like emo music. I did have my stages, I guess. I listened to some like emo adjacent. Like I would have been inclined to listen to something like Bring Me Back to Life by Evanescence, you know, a little bit emo leaning. Not necessarily in like a particular genre, but just the overall like emotional aspects of that song. It has that like grandioso feel that makes you just want to like sing in the rain. But I definitely had my emo stages with like other genres. I'd be listening to like fucking, oh man, what would I be listening to that was like heavy emotionally? But when I look back on it, it's like not that heavy emotionally. It's kind of cringe. What was it? Oh, like, what was that song? Oh my God, what was it called? This is going to be such a fucking throwback for people. I have it on I can sing the melody. I'll never forget holiday that I went on with my parents, And again, this was probably the same era. I'm spilling a lot of fucking drama here from previous relationships, but I can only hope that she's probably not watching. But I remember I went on holiday years ago, and it was with my parents. It was like back when I had no choice essentially to go on family holidays. Oh, first world problems, you know. Have to go to fucking Spain with my family. But you know, when you're that age and you just don't want to be around your parents, you're like, you're so hormonal and your fucking brain is absolutely scattered everywhere. I went on holidays with my parents, fully paid for. Poor me, you know? And I fucking probably ruined the whole thing with my little emotional mess. So I was just a fucking disaster. What's that song that goes, just another sunbreak in my heart? I'm just going to keep singing it until the title eventually comes up. Wonder what I'll be another one. I might have to put some reverb on this because this is rough. Favorite thing I never done. Don't let go. Don't let go. What is the name of the song? I don't think it has the name of the song in it. That's why it makes it hard, because you can't sing the melody and then land on the chorus and then they just say the chorus and then you're like, oh, I think it's a weird name. Can someone remind me what the song is called? That would have been like my emo shit. And I remember the holiday that I went on with my parents. That was like my summer sadness song. So that would have been what I was listening to. Like, I was an emo kid. I was an emo kid at heart for sure. Like I still am. I'm very like emotional and soft when it comes to certain things. Which I guess is why I probably, when I like lose my shit to music as well, like I connect with music a lot on that level. It may not even necessarily be emotional, but like if there's a sick riff, I just feel it a lot, you know? I just feel things a lot. I feel like I'm quite empathetic and very emotional. So I was definitely an emo kid for sure when I was younger, but not listening to emo music, quote unquote. So I feel like lyrically, this song would have been right up my street if I was into this particular sonic landscape of sound. You know, that doesn't make any sense, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like if I was into this music, I should have said music. I was trying to be clever there. Sonic soundscape of sound, or landscape. Oh, shut up, man. Anyways, Home Sweet Hole. I'm digging a fucking Home Sweet Hole for myself now. Okay, different tempo on this song. Oh. These guitars sound absolutely incredible. Riff City is what I said. My mic was muted.
All your stories are just works of fiction. The roof is crashing down. The truth is slipping out. I'm done again. I'm way too far in on my head. Close the line. That's all you know what it stands for. I'm done again. I'm way too far in on my head. Close the line. I don't even know what it stands for.
so fucking consistent. So insanely consistent. Alright, quick pause because I am so prepared for this next song. Not much to say on that, to be honest. Again, there is moments that all of a sudden a riff just comes in and makes my face melt, but overall as a song, not my favorite. The only two playlisted tracks right now, the only guaranteed 100% playlist right now is Anthem for me. It Never Ends is definitely solid, and I think I need to listen to that again. But there is an argument for that being playlist because of the riffs, but overall, I'm going to leave it off the playlist for the moment. Again, I'm being very particular about which songs I add to the playlist because these are the songs I'm going to be looking back on or thinking back on when it comes to actually figuring out what I think the best songs in the Bring Me the Horizon discography are, which we'll be doing at some point with Burb and Steve. I think Steve has to catch up a little bit. I'm definitely ahead of the pack now when it comes to myself and Steve because it was obviously Burb's heard all the albums, so we'll be doing that at some point. That'll be fun. I can't wait for that. And that's the reason why I'm literally doing this in the first place, because I am genuinely excited to just go and film that video because they're just the most fun videos in the world to film, just ranking discographies of bands and shit. But this next song, I reckon, already is in contention for one of the better Bring Me the Horizon songs. I don't remember what it goes like, but I just know it's fucking sick. Is this the one that's something like Russian Roulette? Let's play a game of Russian Roulette. I'll do this. I'll load the guns. You made the bet or something like that. If that is this song, yeah, I'm about to fucking poo. All right. Because this song is sick. Let's go. I don't know if that's it. That might be another song, but this one rips regardless of what it actually is. Yeah. Yeah. Just, I'm adding to the playlist already. This song is so sick. The detail in the riffing, man. The song never lets up for 1 minute. It just does not let you go. The switch up here is so nasty. fucking sick, man. Fucking sick. What a song. How many songs left? I've made this album so long. It feels like it's going so long, but I know it's just because I've yapped so much. Over an hour I've been talking for. And we're only on track 8. Shout out to fucking Drop C, man. Fuck me. That sounds incredible. Where did fucking Spotify go? What? I fucking love that riff. I was not anticipating that to be one of the best Bring Me the Horizon songs ever made. What the fuck? I've never heard Visions being mentioned in the conversation for Bring Me the Horizon tracks. That just goes to show how ridiculously consistent their discography is and how many fucking banger tracks they have. That was mental. The groovy riffs in that. And then also some of the chorus riffs, I think, structurally, I wasn't paying attention there at all. But the more melodic rhythm and lead. I don't even know what the fuck it was, man. It was just a sick riff in there. And then they brought in the fucking stupid drop C rhythm guitar, and it just fucking, yeah, incredible. The tone, shout out to drop C. I believe it's drop C on the majority of this album. I can see online that it's, I think, drop A sharp in some of the other tracks, maybe 2 of the other tracks. I think it's in Anthem and something else. But drop C just sounds so good, man. When the riffs are good and it's in drop C, brother, go it. It's just that resonance of the open note is just, oh, it sounds amazing. It sounds so crisp. I want to kiss it. But yeah, man, Visions, wasn't anticipating. This is kind of nice. This is kind of the nice thing about not know, like, I can't see the plays here, so I have no idea which songs are good. Because obviously there is ones that are obvious to me because I've heard the names before. So I'm like, oh, these are big hitting tracks. But when an album is considered to be so iconic, you would expect a lot of the tracks to be really, really solid as it is, just by default, because if an album is going to be fucking really, really good, it has to have a lot of good songs. And not every song can be as popular as the other ones. So there's going to be some hidden gems in there. And that was most certainly one of them that I was not anticipating to be as good. That was nearly better than Alligator. See what I mean? I don't know what's wrong with me. But that might actually be a better track than Alligator Blood. That might be the best song on the album. It felt the most dynamic. It had a pretty melodic chorus. It wasn't just brutality. Like Alligator Blood, as good as it is, it's so good live, I'd imagine. I haven't heard it live, but I imagine it's a little bit more one-dimensional than something like Visions. Visions has everything that Alligator Blood offers, but also feels a little bit less repetitive than something like Alligator Blood. I can't speak. Alligator Blood, Alligator Blood, Alligator Blood, Alligator Blood. I might be drunk without drinking alcohol. I don't know. Let's just get this over with, man. I'm taking the fucking piss now. 3 songs left. Oh my god, if you start ripping a slide, I'm gonna... Oh, whoa. the fuck are they putting in the end of this album? Jesus Christ. What's happening? We're 3 on the bounce for an album that was released in 2010. When was the last time you heard me say that sentence? We've liked 5 songs from an album that was released in 2010. Metalcore album. What are we doing here? Where's Ashton? I've been punked. This came out last week. What? This is so good. This is incredible. There's 2 songs left. Can they clean sweep the last 5 songs on the album? That was incredible. If you start a riff with a slide, brother, I'll be your horse. Sorry. Just gonna say something crazy there. Kind of did say, I might as well just fucking said the whole sentence. Like I left out like 2 letters. I'm a whore for those riffs is what I was essentially trying to say. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's just so sexy. Grooveville. Beautiful. I'm in the middle of playing the Views from the Sun track by Thornhill. So slidey riffs are just in my brain right now. What an intro to an album, by the way. So yeah, slidey riffs, if you couldn't already tell, are my shit. And when you slow it down at like almost a halftime speed, wow. And the lyrical content is actually like so much more palatable than some of the stuff on the older albums because they're still like angsty teens or early 20s at this point. But it's not like insufferable cringe lyrics. It's actually alright. And it actually feels like, yeah, you know what? Bro's spitting venom. And it's coming from a place of like genuine anger at the world that still holds up to this day. Not like, I'm 14 and my girlfriend cheated on me. This album's phenomenal. I can't believe it's taken me this long to get to this. I'm sorry. I am sorry. People have been asking me to do this for fucking literally years. Like, I'm gonna go listen to these songs again after this. Like, sometimes I'll like songs because like, I can appreciate it, but these are actually like genuine, like to this day, playlisted tracks. 15 years later. Like, if a band releases something like this today, I'm in. There is still the odd, like, kind of cringe production moment. Not even cringe, but just like product of its time production moment where you're like, ooh, brother. Again, like you can hear the early stages of what they went on to become, which is so interesting to hear from that perspective. Like even this, it's like you can hear them stepping outside their comfort zone creatively, which is how all good things come about. Like no one creates a successful business or project on their first fucking go. Like they're doing deathcore, then they're doing an extension of the deathcore, then they're doing like deathcore metalcore with some production, then the next album is Sempiternal, still some production elements in there, then the next one is fucking That's the Spirit, another cracking album, and then they've come up, you know, what we hear from them today. Incredible. I want to do the whole discography again, to be honest. After hearing this album, I want to hear Sempiternal again in its full form. Like, look at this album. Antivist as well. I forgot that. I don't think I've heard these songs actually, the last 4. I think I'll do a Sempiternal video as well. Okay, Memorial seems to be just a fully instrumental, or not even instrumental, this sounds all digital. But you know what I mean. Maybe I've heard this song before. The name is very familiar. So it's either a really popular song that I've just heard about, I've either heard it, or that's like a lyric in another song that's reminding me of something else. So I think we're still on for like a clean sweep at the end of the album. This one doesn't really count. Oh, I do know this song. Oh my fucking god, I do know this song. This is incredible. I haven't heard this song in fucking ages. Those notes. I'm gonna fucking cry, holy shit. Oh my god. This is that girl I was talking about? Oh my god. That's why I know it. I've just been transported back like 15 years ago. Oh my god. This is the weirdest full circle moment of my existence right now. This was like her thing. That's why I knew the name. Oh my god! I'm not about to start crying over an ex I had 15 years ago. I need to see the music video for this. I feel like that will just bring back so many memories. Wowzerinos. Okay, relax. Relax. Ox and the Wolf. This is actually the last song. Okay, only 1 minute. Okay, that's an interesting actual. I thought these two last songs were part of the like extended version of it or whatever, but I'm not listening to this remix. I couldn't be arsed. Yeah, man, that like put respect on this band, man. Like for anyone who's fucking yapping online about how they're just like pop music and just shut the fuck up. This band is fucking incredible. Has been doing this shit for so long and has consistently evolved and been at the top of the pile no matter what they've tried. This is so good. This album is incredible. 15 years later, and it still sounds this good. Mental. This album is like not even really massively ever in the conversation for their best album, and it's an album that a lot of other bands would dream to have produced, to being a part of, and this is like one of their albums. Like the fact that this isn't their peak, that the next album is fucking phenomenal, and then all the other albums that follow after that just do so many different things that are still amazing. Like let me just look at their discography right now. Like I mean, they have That's the Spirit, Ammo as well. Ammo has some great songs. The Post-Human Survival Horror, obviously Next Gen is the most recent one. Yeah, this band is just bloody brilliant. They are fucking incredible, man. What more can I say? I mean, if we just look at the songs I have liked off of the album, I'll go back to here real quick. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 12, so half of the album. There's other songs that could potentially go in there, but I think that is a pretty safe 6, like that are absolute bangers. That little weird moment that I just had with Blessed with the Curse was that was odd for me. That was a really unique experience where I just feel like I got brought back. Because I was thinking that maybe I'd heard that song because of the name. I was like, that's ringing a bell. Maybe I heard it like just on my own time when I was in the earlier stages of checking out Bring Me the Horizon. But once it started playing and I got the lyrics, I was like, oh my God, this is like one of these songs that my ex that I've spoken about many times. This sounds like I'm a fucking freak that I keep bringing up my ex from 15 years ago, but it's so relevant because it's just such a cool storyline that she was mad into this band. I hated it. Didn't want anything to do with it. I didn't like this music at all. Now I'm here 15 years later, deep diving the discography and loving it. Mental. Just to think of how many things could be different if I just gave them a little bit more time. Now, obviously tastes change over time, so it's not like because I love it now I would have loved it back then. I had enough opportunity to hear it and I just pushed it away. I was like, no, this is not something I want in my life right now. This is too chaotic. This is ridiculous. This is just screaming. Again, 13 years old, give me a fucking break. But man, hearing that song and then just going back like how many fucking years, like 15 years to when she would have been listening to this is just crazy. Not in like oh, I miss her. Like it was 15 years ago. It was my first like true love, we'll call it, if you can even have a true love when you're that age. But you know, it was the first like serious relationship, so it is just funny to look back on. But that was just a weird experience, man. That was really, really weird and unique. So yeah, man, I feel like I've done enough yapping at this point. This is an incredible fucking album. Like I said, most bands would kill to have an album in their discography like this as their album. Like a lot of bands would be proud of this as their best ever album, whereas Bring Me have other albums that could easily rival this that are even better. Obviously the next album is Sempiternal, which we will do a video for. I just want to do it now at this point because we've gone through the progression from Count Your Blessings, the first EP, Suicide Season, and now this. It's getting better and it's obviously getting closer to what I enjoy, but I didn't think it would be like, I thought it would be like I kind of hate everything up until Sempiternal, but Jesus Christ, this is like a very, very, I don't even know, I think this album is better than Suicide Season for me, but Suicide Season I can see why is equally as good. There's less of the kind of corny production on it, but a lot more of the corny lyricism on it. I think this album features less lyricism, but a little bit more like kind of cheesy production because it's the earlier stages of production. And obviously in Sempiternal, they lock in both, which is the most exciting part about it. They have all of the same riffs. Those dropsy riffs are absolutely fucking gnarly. So fun, so bouncy, so heavy. The lyrical content gets a little bit less cheesy as we go, and the production gets more dialed in. Obviously, Jordan Fish was introduced to the band, I believe, at this point onwards. So obviously, Sempiternal is his first introduction to the band, and he obviously takes their production and sounds to the new level that, you know, goes on to be so iconic, which is Sempiternal. Now, I'm going to wrap it up here because I need to go to the toilet. If you were watching on Patreon, thank you so much for supporting. Much love. look forward to a Sempiternal video now, and maybe it's going to be hard to just stop because their discography is so fun, and I've never done videos for the discography, so it's going to be very hard for me to just be like, okay, we're done with Bring Me now, because they're just such a good band. And again, that video with Stephen Burr will come at some point when Steve's heard the whole discography as well. But I'd like to kind of maybe go through it again so I can have a good idea as to which songs are actually the best. But as you can see here, man, oh, I need to check the plays. Fuck. How am I going to do this? Okay, the best way to do this is probably bring my Spotify over to this screen and then move my OBS over here. I'm going to reveal it all at the same time here so I'm not getting any spoilers. And then bang, and then bang, and then bang. Okay, so let's see the plays on this. I need to piss so bad. This is going to be a quick run through. So I've liked, look at these two tracks. These are so underrated, so underappreciated compared to some of the big hitters on the album, like 38 Million. That to me is crazy that has 38 million. Nowhere near as good as these two, Visions and Blacklist. They are disgustingly good songs, but I guess this one's more like radio friendly-esque. It's a little bit more mass appeal because it has the pop production and shit like that, but it's the pop production kind of makes it a bit shit for me, to be honest. Didn't really enjoy the intro as much. Anthem's a great song. It Never Ends is really good. That's obviously the most popular one from what I can see. Blessed with a Curse is another popular one. Memorial, yeah, I mean, that's surprisingly... How the fuck does this have 9.4 million plays and these two have 13 and 10? Like, that is literally just an instrumental interlude. Not even, it's like a digital instrumental interlude. Why? Why? These songs are absolute bangers. Alligator Blood obviously has a little bit more plays. That is just a classic song. That might have been a single, so that makes more sense why it has a little bit more. Don't Go. I mean, obviously Lights is a popular enough artist. Fucking hell. But I didn't really enjoy the tracks with Lights. Home Sweet Home, decent. Never Ends. These are iconic tracks. Yeah, I think that's where we end it, lads. I'm going to go to the toilet before this ends on a sour note. That was incredible. Loved every second of that, for the most part. This band's insane. This band is insane. I already knew it, but now I'm getting confirmation that this band is insane. All right, I'm going. Cheers. Love yous all. Bye.